Hey guys, thought today we'd make some sweet southern cornbread. Okay, this goes with beans and barbecue this and just really good. Now you can either make it sweet or unsweet depending on what you like. Okay, and I'll also tell you a variation to where you can make it almost like cake. It's so soft and moist. Okay, first thing you're going to need is your dry ingredients. Now you might want to get a pen and pause me right about now so that you can write them down if you wish. Okay, you get 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. You can use white cornmeal if you want. Okay, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/4 cup of sugar. This is optional if you don't like sweet cornbread. Okay, half a tablespoon, of salt. And 3 teaspoons of baking powder. See, there's 3 in there. Okay, when you get all the dry ingredients, take a whisk, okay, and just mix it up. You're going to want to preset your oven to 425. Now this recipe can be doubled easily, so if you want to make a big batch, I've got this smaller pan right here, which is perfect. It comes up just a little over the rim when it's done. And that's great for 1 or 2 people. But if you've got a big family, you can double it easy. You can even cook it in your cast iron. Just make sure you preheat your cast iron pan or pot or whatever you're going to use beforehand. Okay. Anyway, 425 on the oven. And I've got mine preheating right now. Now, once I have the dry ingredients mixed up, I take 1 egg that's slightly beaten, okay, and I just dump it in here. 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, but you can melt lard if you wish, or I guess you could use olive oil if you wanted, but it would impart a flavor. So, and a cup of milk, yeah, a cup of milk. All right. Then you mix it up. You don't want to over mix it. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe get down here closer where you can see. Let me get this arranged where you can see. Okay. You don't want to over mix it. It's going to be fairly stiff. If you think it's too stiff, you can add just a touch more milk or water. Now you could put water in this and put powdered milk in it for like if you're going camping or out on the trail, or if you want to make up a mix, but you just can't. You'd have to use the powdered eggs and the powdered milk. You could make the mix up, and then on the trail you could add oil and water to make it to what you wanted. You can do a lot with this. Now once you got it mixed, as you can see, it's fairly thick. At this point, if you wanted to make it more like cake, you could add a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. Okay, it won't change the flavor, but it will make it moist, and you'll never taste the mayonnaise. Okay, if you do add mayonnaise, you for sure have to refrigerate this after it's cooked, because it will spoil in a hurry. Let me put this back up. Oh no, there we go. My little bendy-legged tripod is not wanting to cooperate. Anyway, you just put it in here and spread it out. Before you add if you're going to add mayonnaise, put that in before you add any extra milk or water if you think it's too stiff, because the mayonnaise will soften it up a little bit as well. And I just press it into the pan. Now, one thing you can do is spread it around a little bit. Okay. Now, what you can do to make it flatter, drop the pan. Gizzy's throwing a fit. She's like, "Who's knocking on the house?" Okay. All right, Gizzy. You want a zombie? You want to, oh, this wrong box. You want a zombie? You kill that zombie? Kill the zombie. Get the zombie. Get it. Okay. All right. Here's your, yeah, here's your zombie. Okay. Anyway. I just used, to grease the pan, yeah, you can grease it and flour it, or you can just grease it with butter. I used that spray Baker's Joy with the flour in it, just for make it easier, okay? This can be cooked in a Dutch oven, okay, over a campfire. It can be cooked, of course, in the oven. You can even make it a little bit thinner and make almost like a corn pancake out of it, okay? If you want it super sweet, you can add more sugar. If you don't want it sweet, you can take away sugar, okay? But anyway, we're going to put it in the preheated oven at 425. Get that started. Put it right directly in the middle. Now, you have to keep checking it because, you know, different ovens cook at different temperatures. Kitchen timer for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to hit 20 minutes and start because my oven cooks different than any other oven I have ever had, okay? The knob isn't even correct. I went in this place and they gave me a replacement knob because none of the numbers were on the old knobs. But whenever I checked it out, it was 50 degrees off on what the knob said, the new knob. So anyway, it was not good. So let me get this up here. But yeah, you can make this any way you want. Okay, you can add the sugar, subtract the sugar. You know, you can do pretty much add whatever you want. It's not rocket science. I'm going to start up a pot of beans here in a few minutes, and I'm gonna have beans and cornbread. So I figured I'd show you how I make my sweet cornbread because my late husband really liked it. He wouldn't eat anybody else's cornbread. He didn't want anything to do with anything but my cornbread, which was very flattering, okay? That was about the only thing he liked about me, I think. Anyway, we're going to let this go for 20 minutes, and then I'll come back and show it to you. Also, one variation you could do, because a lot of people really like it, is to put jalapenos in it, or green chilies, or red peppers, or anything you want. If you wanted to put some whole kernel corn in there or some cream corn in there, but you know, the cream corn you might want to watch with the liquidy part, and of course drain the whole kernel corn. You can do all that, okay? Anything you want to add in here is more than fine. Just the basic recipe, and then you just add whatever you want, basically. So I thought I'd pop that in there because some people really like jalapeno cornbread, and I'm not into jalapenos, but I do like green chilies, and I should have thought about that. But I'll put some in the beans, so it'll be all right. And we're just waiting. Just got about 13 minutes left before I check it. I do not open the oven until the shortest time, okay? The reason I don't do that is because I don't want the oven to lose heat, because cornbread needs to have kind of a nice little crust on it. At least I think it does. Uh-oh, where did my toothpicks go? Uh-oh, uh-oh. Houston, we have a problem. Where's the toothpicks? Oh, crap. Well, I can use a knife, I guess, but it's just not the same, you know? I don't know what I did with them. I've lost my toothpicks. I had a whole little jar of them. Well, heck. Well, doggone it. All right, did you guys hide my toothpicks? Really? You did? $1 to the person that can find my toothpicks. Oh, hard. Where did I put it? Okay, well, I'll put you back on hold while I search for my toothpicks, and hopefully I can find them, and that way we can test them. I don't like to test it with a knife in the center because, well, the knife is big, so it makes a big old hole in the middle of your nice, pretty cornbread. So anyway, I'll put you back on hold, and we'll do this in a minute since I find my toothpicks. Okay, the world is good again. I found the toothpicks. The yeast was stashing them behind them, and we're hiding them. So anyway, I got my toothpicks, and I pull out 2. Reason being is I test in a couple of different spots. So Yeah, you can get these down at Walmart. Just a little tub of them. Put them back where they're supposed to go. Where they should have been. That's what I get when I start rearranging my stuff, is I forget where I put it. So anyway, we've got about 7 minutes and 45 seconds left before I can test it. So I'm going to put you back on hold here in just a second. And then we'll be back. Okay, I thought I'd show you my cooking setup while I'm waiting. I have that little bit of counter space right there. I've got the stove. And I've got that little bit of counter space right there. Now for my, I gotta move you slowly so I don't make you dizzy. This is my cabinets right from there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my upper cabinets. And that's where I have to keep, on this side is the dishes. And right there is dishes. So half of it's dishes basically. And then this half is food. Now down below, I have pots and pans and lids and things like that, mixers. Oops. And then down below on this side I got like baking sheets and muffin tins and stuff. And on this side I've got bowls, the big mixing bowls and stuff. And then of course I've got the drawer with all the stuff like that. Over here is the knife drawer. And then this is the silverware drawer. This door is sprung, besides I got something in the way. So yeah, you got to get creative around my house if you want any kind of storage for your food. So the dehydrating is why I started that, because it reduces the volume. Oh, I've got a pro tip for you guys who like to go camping. You probably already know this, but in the freezer, if you'll take and freeze 2 gallons of water to go in your cooler, you don't have to buy ice, and it doesn't make a mess. Unless it springs a leak or splits or something, but it doesn't make a mess in your cooler. You don't have to drain water, and then you have water when it melts. Now you can do the same thing with, let me do this. You can do the same thing with bottled water if you don't want to use the big gallon jugs. Just take and freeze your bottles of water, and you can use those as great big ice cubes. And then you have ice water to drink, especially in the summer. If you wish to have water to drink, you can put those in your cooler, and as they melt, you can drink them, and they're really good. Ice water's awesome. But just a little tip on the campers in the group, that you can do that. Some people think they can, or they got to buy block ice, and I was that way for a long time. And then I decided one day that I didn't need to spend the money, because I didn't really have any extra money and I wanted to go camping. So I took a couple of 2-liter soda pop bottles and froze those. Those didn't want to stand up in the cooler though, because they were too tall and I couldn't close the lid good. So I ended up changing it after that to gallon jugs. Those are milk jugs that I had that I washed out. I rinsed out really good, and then I let them sit with soapy water in them for 24 hours, and then I rinsed them and rinsed them and rinsed them, and then let them completely dry. They shouldn't have any problem with any kind of old milk smell. And if it does, I won't drink it, because it just grosses me out. And that's why I tell everybody to just buy gallons of water, because then you have at least a gallon jug that's clean when you're done drinking the water, and you can refill it. But I didn't have a way to the store, and I didn't have any gallons, so I just rinsed out the gallon milk jugs instead. So we've got about 3 minutes and 46 seconds left. So I'm going to put you on hold again real quick. I'll be right back. We'll pull that out. Let you see it. Okay, the timer just went off. We're going to pull it out of the oven, and well, I'm going to check it first. When you're checking cornbread, you stick this down in the very center, and if it's got anything gooey stuff on it at all, it's not done. So, we are done. Pull it out so you guys can see. I'm going to test it with the other toothpick out here in the light. Sometimes you have to break the crust around a little bit on the top so it doesn't scrape it off. No, we're done. See, we're done. Okay. This is looking super yummy. Okay, let's get this tilted down just a little bit. I'm not real good with this. Here, I'll just pick it up. And there is the cornbread. It's rose nicely. It's got the nice crusty edges, which is awesome, especially if you're eating beans. And it is super, super tasty. I know you're supposed to wait until it cools off a little bit, but I don't have the willpower for that, so I'm going to get me small piece. Saucer. And some silverware. Pick it up and show it to you if I don't break it into a million pieces. No, I did good. And here it is. Hot, steaming, sweet cornbread. Now, the best way I found to eat it is to cut it open. Now, I don't keep my butter in the refrigerator. I keep it in a Tupperware container on the counter with a lid. Now, the reason I do that is so it's soft, because I don't like hard butter, and I don't want to have to nuke it to soften it up. People are going to say, oh, your butter will go rancid. No, it won't. It takes a very, very long time for butter to go rancid on your counter in a modern home today. Now, if it was 100 degrees outside, you had no air conditioning, and, you know, yeah, maybe it'll go bad a little faster. But in a climate-controlled environment, no. It's going to... Ah! I dropped the phone. In a climate-controlled environment, it's going to be just fine. And it'll stay good for days. Whoa. Okay. This is not cooperating. Okay. Now, I like a lot of butter on my cornbread. And I like it to melt in there all nice and gooey and buttery. And here it is. It's so good. I can make a meal just out of this, literally. I got butter on the top, it's still melting. It is super yummy, guys. You can make a meal out of just that. Okay, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, tell your friends, share it, make a comment down below. Tell me any variations that you might have, because you may have something that you could put in here that I didn't think of. Oh, better turn the oven off. And check out my links down below, and y'all come back and see me. I'm gonna eat my cornbread.